geographical. So
Yes.
we're gonna record this.
All right, and I'm
gonna
gonna
try to
share
speak English.
There we go. Can everyone see my screen okay?
We're gonna go through this
Yes.
as quickly as we
Okay.
can, okay?
So this initial presentation, before we jump on the website, we just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the value that this lead source brings and how this lead source is different than other lead sources that you may be familiar with. So, Supreme Title Toolbox, where are the sellers hiding and how can you find them?
And FYI, this is our first go ahead. Be as transparent about the.
We want honest feedback, please.
We do. Nothing is going. We didn't create this. We just saw the value in it. That's what we saw. We saw the value in what this guy presented to us. We got this through our underwriter. Our underwriter always looks for value for us. I'm a great marketer. At least I feel we're good, strong marketers. I want to add value, and that's all that we're about. If we can't add value to it, there's no point in paying for the expense of this. So transparency, and just let us know what you think about it. If there are questions that Rosie and I cannot ask, we will get you the answer. So again, this is our first go with training, but let us have it. Okay, I'm going to have a piece of paper right here, write down notes, and let's just go ahead and start. Who is selling and why? We all know that the interest rates are up, median sales prices are high. People that listen now are people that will have reasons to sell or have to sell. What are reasons to sell? Okay, here's a list of reasons to sell, right? Mortgage default, divorce, death, probate.
If something's cut off at the bottom.
Oh yeah. Age of the owner, right? Empty nesters, maybe people that have to move, bankruptcy, and IRS. People will have to sell when they have to sell, and they will move when they have to move, right? So, okay. Now, the national average for turnover rate, meaning right now. So because of the interest rates being low, because of where we're at.
No, keep going. I was
okay.
just trying to get this away.
It's looking at 4% right now. So out of every 100 homes, 4 will sell, 96% will not sell this year. The higher the turnover rate, the higher numbers of sellers, which equal the higher number of listing opportunities. And the geographic area around Brevard is 4%. All right. The information available through this platform can help you find homes with turnover rates of 15% or more. But let's go ahead. We'll take a peek at the math. All right.
So there are 3 basic elements or kind of variables to acquiring new listings as a realtor. And here they are in no particular order. The quantity of the homes that you market to monthly, your ability to close at listing appointments and get contracts for the listing. And number 3, the turnover rate or sales rate of the homes that you market to. So which of these variables do you feel would be the easiest for you to improve? I'm going to tell you right now, it's number 3, the turnover rate that you market to, and it's not even close. So math class.
Rose's favorite.
So let us prove that targeting the right homes versus the wrong homes will make this your best year ever.
Okay, so the goal, let's say our goal is 15 listings in the next 12 months. Question, at 4% turnover rate, how many homes do you need to market to in order to realistically get 15 sold listings in the next 12 months?
And keep in mind, the higher the turnover rate, the higher the number of sellers, which equals the higher number of listing opportunities for you.
So let's do some math, right? Goal again is 15 listings in the next 12 months. 1,000 homes, if you're marketing to 1,000 homes at 4%, this equals 40 home sales.
And when you say home sales, we really mean homes that respond to your marketing.
Exactly. Are you going to get a listing appointment on every one of these homes, Tina? Probably
not likely.
Right? So you'll probably get, again, why we chose you guys as your leaders in the industry, right? So here, you'll probably get 60 appointments, which equals 60%, which equals 24 appointments. I'm using the 1,000 as an example. 750, 18, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Let's work with the higher numbers.
Yes.
Get rid of that.
So after that 60% of listing appointments, are you going to get a signed listing agreement on every one of the homes that you have a listing appointment with? Not likely again. So let's work with that 60% rate. After that 60% listing appointment rate, now you have a 60% sign rate where they are going to sign a listing agreement with you. So from start to finish, 1,000 homes at 4% gets you 40 responses to your marketing, gets you 60% will get you appointments. You'll get 24 appointments. Out of those 24 appointments, 60% will sign. You're going to get those 15 listings. And taking that bigger number again, marketing to 1,000 homes to eventually just get 15 listings is pretty tough. That's some real hurt right there. So remember our variables.
Go ahead.
Oh no, that was you. Go ahead.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was on a roll.
Number of homes marketed to, closing percentage, and turnover rate. All right. So which of these is the easiest to improve? We discussed this, obviously, turnover rate. And as we mentioned, it's not even close.
So,
right. So at 1,000, so what happens if we can find homes that sell at 15% turnover rate?
That's our goal here,
right?
15%. Check that out. So let's work with those higher numbers again. If we market to 1,000 homes at 15% turnover rate, we get 150 responses to the marketing. You get 60% appointments, meaning 90 appointments. And after 60% of those people sign with you, you're getting 57 listings. That's way above that goal of 15 listings in 12 months. But now, why not do only a third of the work? You're reaching out to now 370 homes, a third of the work. At that 15% going across, you get 20 listings. That's actually 5 above the goal, and you're doing a third of the work. So how do we find that 15% turnover rate?
There's information available on properties throughout Florida that can provide you with addresses of homeowners that have reasons to sell.
And that's what we're here to show you.
The question is, where do we find this information and how do we use it?
So find the right homeowners before you have to prospect and market. Data targeting allows you to identify probable sellers and contact them before they list their homes. You're getting them right in that sweet spot. So when you target listings with Supreme Title Toolbox, it allows you to sort large areas like cities, zip codes, or drawn areas down to the specific homes that statistically will sell more than other homes. Puts you in the right place at the right time to have successful conversations with homeowners. And it's been statistically proven. So let's look at the stats. This is Tracy's favorite thing.
Well, the reason why it's my favorite thing, and I was hoping to get some real old schoolers on here of like 2008, because right here is really the sweet spot. Again, when you will buy when you have to buy, right? There's no choice. You're coming in from California or whatever, and you will sell when you have to sell. And these are very big reasons why people sell. 52% mortgage default, 27% FSBA, 22% divorce, 19% probate, and 3% farming.
She calls this the cone of shame.
I call it the cone of shame. Is a lot of it, a lot of situations just put us where we have no choice. Sometimes we have to just sell our house because we're having financial issues. FSBA, we don't have the money. Divorce, unfortunately, and then probate, So these are areas where people have to sell.
Yes. And there was a statistic that we saw. It was like, I think 70 something % of divorces end in a sale within the first 12 months.
So even if, I'll be honest with you, not to even just to talk into this for a second, Rose, let's say that you can't sell this house. Let's say that you have a mortgage banker. Let's say that you have somebody that you have developed a relationship with, and they are, I don't know, in a divorce situation, and they need to refinance because one of them wants to stay in the house. You could feed your mortgage banker, or you could assist them with, an attorney that maybe you have a relationship. Symbiotic relationships work this way. So there's a lot of value to this.
So using the data to find homes that have reasons to sell, you can use the same amount of effort, right? 370 versus 1,000. And you'll be more successful by marketing to those probable sellers.
So the choice is yours. You can blindly cold call everyone, door knock for everyone, or blindly mail it to everyone. 96% are not selling in the next 12 months. Or you can work smarter, targeting probable sellers, owners, increasing by 15%.
To 15%.
To 15%. Having more confidence when talking with the homeowners, knowing you're in the right place at the right time. Save
money, save time. Be more efficient.
Yay.
All All right, so here's a little sneak peek at what the website kind of looks like. So the farming is really amazing because you can layer it. You can start with just an address and start with an area search. But then you can put property characteristics like bed, bath, square foot, lot size, year built. You can include assessment and tax information, transaction history, transfers, lender history, mortgage leads. So what Tracy was saying before, that if you do work with a mortgage lender that you want to pull into this is a real opportunity for a symbiotic relationship, because there are leads for you and there are leads for the lenders. So, oh, this is you.
All right. So as we discussed earlier, this is some of the lead sources that you have. You have involuntary liens. What was the stars for?
So the liens and the cash sales are the two things that are available on this lead source that are not available on any other lead source in the country.
So we have all of these. We just kind of discussed them, but you're going to see percentages under each. 22.8% result in sales, 19.7% result in, if a person is deceased, so on and so forth. Just an FYI, back in the olden days of 2008 through 2011, these were the reasons a lot of people were doing short sales. And let me tell you, it was more of a benefit to these people helping them. I know a lot of my realtor friends have been like, I don't really like to have to deal with divorce situations or lien situations
or death
or, unfortunate death situations, bankruptcy, empty nesters. Sometimes these can be challenging phone calls to have. But I realized after having 40,000 short sales on my desk and literally closing 10,000 short sales, you are helping people. You are developing relationships, long-term relationship. I still stay in contact with these people over years, 15 years, and they still close with Supreme Title because, again, their lives have redeveloped. They've gotten rid of those liens. Maybe they've remarried. Maybe, a person whose husband possibly passed away or wife, they got married again or they rebought, and they always ask that they close with us. So these long-term relationships are here within these leads, even if they're those first uncomfortable phone calls. Notice of defaults, notice of sales, out-of-state owners are great, and cash sales and next sellers.
Very big.
Very big.
So as far as the data that you can pull from the website, phones and emails. So they partnered with a third-party vendor. It's Data Finder. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's extremely inexpensive. They charge 5 cents per phone number and 7 cents per email. You can pull mortgage and equity information, loan to value ratio, HELOCs if applicable, anything like that. Life events like we've been discussing, those are the real money makers right there. You can actually do net sheets on this website, and their net sheets on here are badass. Yeah. They really are. And they pull comps. So if you look over here to that reports category, profiles with comps, property profile with demographic data, property profile with school data, and on and on and on. So you really have
real quick,
and an AVM.
Yes, the AVM.
Yes.
Guys, I always say to everyone, I am not a realtor, I'm not a mortgage broker, I'm not an appraiser. So I don't know what you're going in hand with to a new listing, but those reports, amazing, seriously. So definitely check that out
for sure. So these are just quick samples that we're just showing you. Basic assessor search, doing an area search. You can search for next sellers. Like I was talking about, you can search by bed, bath, owner name, subdivision, easily identifying nearby neighbors for just listed, just sold, or open house campaigns. And we're going to show you that in just a minute. You can actually identify postal carrier routes.
This was great.
So great.
So good. Yep.
So for your EDDM mailings, you can sort your areas from a highest turnover rate to lowest turnover rate. It's crazy. It organizes everything for you. So the listing lead search, which we're also going to show you, there is obviously like the paid portion of the website, and this is included on that paid portion, but it does give you all of these life events that are very, very crucial to the getting connected with probable sellers. Lender lead search. This is what we were talking about, where you can partner with your lender. You can search by any filter. that are more likely to refinance or target them for a HELOC or a second mortgage, any kind of second mortgage. You can sort them by the current market value, like we were talking about, your AVM, your loan to value ratio, or even interest rate. And we're actually going to touch on that as well. So contact information search. Like we were talking about, the phones are 7 cents phones are 5 cents. Emails are 7 cents. They're on most of the properties, and whatever they're not included on, you get reimbursed for. So we'll cover that later. So now when you want good quality contact information, you have it. You're not just sending random postcards to people who might not read them. And this is that great opportunity to send a handwritten letter in the mail to someone who will really appreciate it. Old school's new school, right?
Old school's new school, baby.
Go ahead.
All right. So again, this is what we used to see, and you can get this information, but this is what we used to see just a couple of years ago when leads would be delivered. And you guys can speak into this, but they're flat, they're static. People were just pushing out information to us, and then we stopped using lead sources many, many years ago because this is what they were giving us. So if you want a bunch of, a bunch of data, you can get this kind of data from us. But our data is a little bit more user-friendly.
Right.
It's a little bit more.
You want me to jump in?
Yeah, please.
So really what makes this so different is that what Tracy was saying, it's most other lead sources is static because what happens is you export this list off of the website, and then it's just a flat file. But on this lead source, on Supreme Title Toolbox, you can save the farm to your account.
This is so cool. Go ahead.
And then it automatically updates every day. So
say, for instance, like there was a house sold and maybe the mortgage hasn't been recorded just yet, or maybe a divorce and, or death certificate is even better. A death certificate hasn't been recorded yet.
Or even divorce filing too.
Divorce filings, but it does take usually about a week, 3 days to a week for things to be recorded, but everything is delivered to you in real time. Yes. But we do get a couple of people, and I don't want to segue too much out of this, that like data. That's why I was hoping that Brandon was that like data, and we can get this data from you from the owner of the company. You just have to let me know, and it's a $50 fee.
Oh, right. So what Tracy's kind of touching on is if you want to request, so there's also information that can only be requested through the owner that we're talking about. So he has code violations. They're not on the site, but you can request them through us. We're code violations and hero loans. And it is a $50 minimum to make that request from him. So if you have that inclination, you just let us know and we can pull that for you. Like we're saying, you can save this to your farms and access them at any time, and they're updated automatically. You can research any property, organizes everything for you. It's a one-stop shop for realtors, investors, and lenders. And it identifies those probable sellers or refinance candidates in any market, organizes and updates those farms. From there, once you look at those addresses, that's when you can then opt to purchase the phones and emails for those.
And because Whitney's on here, I know I said a million times, I'm not going to talk about it, but I know Whitney is very social media experienced. You can actually, I have to look into this a little bit more for you, but you can actually upload this information into your social media, your Facebook, and it can market that way. You can market that way as well.
Right.
I need to do.
So basically you're exporting it. Okay, so we can read this. The user can export the records in several formats, including the, exact format that imports without alterations into Facebook for boosted ads to be posted within Facebook for that targeted market. I mean, talk about most bang for your buck.
You go away on vacation, the next thing you know, you're getting an email for something. You're getting a Facebook post. This is real retargeting.
This is how you target.
Yeah, this is it.
Right. So just quickly, detailed maps and property information. It gives you the Google Street View for every property that has a Google Street View available. A huge time saver for realtors and investors. Like we're saying, this is a one-stop shop. Everything that you would have to pull from all these different websites and all these different platforms, it's all right here.
Yep.
Anything that you would need. like we're saying, net sheets and buyer estimates with a lot of incredible customizable fields on there. Like you see right here, you can put on encumbrances. You can adjust fees if necessary, appraisals and HOA transfers, all
For
that kind
most
of
of
stuff.
you who use our Supreme Title app, we decided to keep it even after seeing this, but there was a lot of questions because this is so
Yeah,
thoughtful.
we thought about it for a minute.
We did think about it, but it doesn't have the marketing side of
Mhm.
our app. So we decided to keep it, but this is a very strong net sheet, just so you know.
Absolutely. Full property profile reports. Let me tell you the value of this. So I recently sold my investment property with my parents and in South Florida. And I did one of these. I did a full property report. This was right after we had onboarded this website. And it gave me so much really valuable information to the point where it pulled 2 extra comps than our realtor had provided us.
Yep.
So that was just really incredible. Really, really
Useful.
really
So
useful.
are you ready to check out
Are you
Supreme
ready?
Title app? Okay.
All right, let me switch over to the interwebs. Oh, hold on. There we go. Here we are. Here we are, everybody. Wait, before we jump into this, does anyone have any questions or anything you want to ask or say to us? Did we do okay? Where are you?
All right.
I had just a question. Does it scrub for the do not call list?
That is a great question. We were definitely going to touch on that. So it doesn't scrub them, it doesn't remove them, but it does mark them. So they actually did that on purpose to keep the cost of the phone numbers down. And that's how they did that, was not scrubbing them, but there is a red dot next to anybody that's on the do not call registry.
Okay.
So what they're going to do is also, let's say that you paid for, just for number's sake, 100, Whitney. Let's say you paid for 100. Let's say 12 of them are on the do not call list. They red mark them so you know not to, and then they put the cash back into your wallet.
Right. They'll reimburse you
They'll
for
reimburse
those
you.
phone numbers that were not that were on the do not call registry.
Okay. And on there was a screen that basically gave property information. Does it also give history? So not
Mhm.
just that sale,
Yes.
but whoever owned it 4
Yes,
times. ago.
absolutely.
Okay.
When I did that property report for the property that my family sold, it had because it used to belong to my father before he passed away. It had my dad's information from his ownership. It had the ownership from before that, and that was the year 2001. So it goes all the way back, just like what you would see on the property appraiser's website, which is so
Okay.
awesome. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody can see Title Toolbox, okay? So this is it. When I uploaded your information into the website to add you as a user, I did use mostly I used your office addresses to set your profile. So when you open your Title Toolbox, it should be pretty close to this, but Tina, you might be like here because your office is over here. And Whitney, your office is in O'Galley, so it'd be right center where mine's showing as well. So just so you know, that's why your map is showing that specific area, because I set it that way. Just make sure before we start, you do have a profile now. Go into my account and just set everything up. Make sure you have a profile photo. That's important because when you export things and send things to your clients and stuff, it will have your branding on it. Okay, here we go.
So let's go ahead and we're going to do a simple search.
Yes.
Let's say for an open house. Okay. Let's say that
The most basic.
my house, let's use my house, Rosie. So obviously it's powered by Google. So there's my house.
We don't want a net sheet. We want, there we go.
So here I am. I'm the owner. The year was built was 06. It gives basic information, just like you were going to pull if you were going to look at public records.
And when you put in an address, you can just select this drop down, and this is what you have available, just a really quick lookup.
You know what I love about this? It's super easy. It tells you everything. It's not trying to upend you with, ridiculous things. It's very, very easy. So let's just say that Whitney is going to do an open house at my house. Okay. And she wants to start farming nearby neighbors, the same nosy neighbors that always come in. Right. So let's 200.
So we're gonna, and
Not right, 200.
so what
Hope
this
so.
means is that within what it's going to do when you pull nearby neighbors, it pulls a radius search of 1 mile. So within that 1 mile, we're just setting a limit of 200 results. So check this out. I'm going to press search. So the grand total is 3,300 properties
Within a mile radius.
within a mile. But we set our limit to 200. So let's do it. This is where we are. And here you can see there's that limit records to 200.
You should move me over a little bit, Rosie.
I'm going to do that in the radius
Okay.
search in a little bit. So we just wanted to show this to you really quick. This is kind of what things look like when you just run a quick nearby neighbors search, or really any kind of search. You're going to get address and the information, price information, owner information, and the last time it was sold. If you want more detailed info, that's where you go to,
You can save it as a farm.
you can save it as a farm, and then you can also request phones and emails for this
Don't
list.
save it as a farm real quick.
So when you save it as a farm, create a new farm or add to an existing farm, you're going to create a new one, India Atlantic Farm, and you press save. Your saved farms, if you go into farming, your saved farms are right here. And that's where you're going to live. That's where all of those CSV files, all of those spreadsheets are going to save and update automatically. So really quick though, too, when you press export, this is where you can just print labels straight from the website based off of the nearby neighbor list of 200 people. You're going to print 200 labels to send to those nearby neighbors, letting them know that you're about to have an open house or that you just sold, the house in 103 Atlantic for top dollar. Okay. So that's a quick nearby neighbor search. Now I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going
When
to,
you were just on that farm and the export, core fact was on there. So when
Right
you
here?
were at export, yeah, core fact. So you said that the farm auto updates. If I've sent it to core fact, it's not going to auto update there. But
no,
will it
as soon as
alert-
you export it from the website, it's static.
But does it alert me that it has done an update so that I know that I need to re-upload a new list to core fact?
That's a great question. I don't think it notifies you, but
I'm taking a note right now.
we're gonna make sure we ask and find that out.
Because that's the hardest part now with mailers
Okay.
is in the farm is that update process.
Okay,
Okay, we'll get that answer for you today.
absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna clear my search. Anytime you're gonna do something over again, just always clear your search. Like the guy who trained us was very adamant about clearing the search.
Right.
Okay, so we're back at square one. Now I'm gonna show you a radius search. So I'm gonna go to farming, and I'm gonna do radius search. So I'm going to type in Tracy's address again. Okay, it located it for me. Now I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and I'm going to drop my pin. And what it defaulted was 2,200 feet. It changes based on how zoomed in you are. I'm going to put it out to 1 mile. So it looks like half of my radius is like in the ocean, which seems like a waste. So I'm just going to grab my pin and move it more towards center landmass so that I can just cover more of actual land. And then I'm going to press next. So once I set my area, right, and you can view that right there again. So once I set my area, now I can go really into the specifics. You're always going to
go left to right, just so you know.
Yes, always left to right. We're going to look at just the full total first. Let's just get a count of the total people within that 1 mile radius. It's just around that 3,700 that we were looking at before. It's 3,600. So I just want to look at everyone, and I want to show you something really, really cool, how to filter these. So download, view records. We just did get count. We got the count, and now I'm going to view the records. And this will bring us back to those addresses, home ownerships, and all of that. There we go.
It does take a second. So just
because it was a long list, it was the 3,600 people. So here's our list. 3,600 people is a lot of people to reach out to. So how do we find the hottest leads? We're going to hit the green button. That's how. New possible leads. Out of these 3,600 people, you have a target now. You have 12 of them with Liz pendants, 13 have
Oh.
liens, 8 divorces, 5 probate, 3 bankruptcy, so on and so forth, and 140 cash buyers. You have opportunities here. And if you hit that buy, because these are the data fields that you do have to purchase. So you can adjust this within 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, and purchase those. And now you
How
have,
does it know
no, go ahead, please.
cash? How does it know cash buyers?
What did she say?
What about cash buyers?
How does it know? These aren't people who purchase their home cash, but these are people who have cash to purchase a home.
No, these are people who purchased
they
their
bought
own cash.
They bought cash. Okay.
Right. So this is that opportunity to work with your lender on refinancing or on
This could
sales.
be anything. A lot of
Mhm.
people who are cash buyers possibly may be coming from out of state. Because I was thinking about this the other day as well. Same as you, Whitney, is like, okay, this person's a cash buyer. This person may want to start buying more investment properties. This person may want to get out of here because he's terrified of a hurricane or she's terrified of a hurricane. There's a litany of reasons why people exit Florida. There's a reason why they may want to buy more properties for their family, right? Everybody moves. I know I'm from the Northeast originally. Everybody follows you to Florida. Maybe they want to buy a house for their child or their adult daughter or whatever it might be. So cash buyers are a very lucrative end of this. What was the percentage on cash buyers? It was pretty high, right?
It was in the presentation. I can't remember.
Okay,
off the
it was
top of my
very,
head.
but cash buyers are a really good target.
So here, this was
Hey,
just like me
Rosie,
do.
can I ask I'm sorry.
Please, no, go ahead.
I need to ask a question about the divorces. Do we know at what point they are in the divorce?
No,
It's
that's-
just the divorce has been filed. So that's what they pull the record of the divorce filing.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
So this was literally just a radius search. I didn't add any filters. I didn't do anything. I did the total count and then I hit new possible leads. That's it. And we got this great list of leads to reach out to. But now let's edit our search and add a filter or two. So you can filter obviously by these property characteristics like we're looking at right now. Keep in mind, it automatically pulls single family residents and condos, but you can go to this drop down and add what you need to, of course. And it's got a lot of options.
Cemetery.
I know, right? Timber. I saw timber yard. I was like, oh yeah, lots of timber yards here. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to custom filters. Now, I'm sure you were wondering, empty nester, how do they possibly pull an empty nester? This is how they do that. 30 plus years of ownership and 3 or more bedrooms. It's an assumption, yes, but it's a really educated assumption. So let's see. I'm just going to get the count really quick. Remember, these are our filters. If you're ever wondering, like, what am I getting the count for? What am I pulling? You can see what your filters are right down here. So there's our total again of 3,600. Now I'm going to include the filter. I want to say, yes, out of this 3,600, how many of these could potentially be empty nesters? 9. 9 of them are empty nesters. So that's a great way to just nice and easy peasy. And this is free. This is free information right here. The only time you're going to have to pay for this is when you buy phone numbers and emails. So let's go back to edit search.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going back to my search. I'm at custom filters again. I'm going to turn off the empty nester and I'm going to choose, like Tracy was just mentioning, out of state mailing addresses, meaning that this is not their primary residence. How many of those are there? 458. Excuse me. That is a pretty excellent list to work with right there. So let's say this is the list I wanted to work with. I'm ready and I want to get some phones and emails. I'm going to come back to the top, and anything that's not this color with the premier star next to it is free. But once you go into here, this is what you have to pay for.
Now you're going to notice right here, Whitney, where it says about
Oh, right here on the phones.
on the phones. Oh, I'm sorry, that it does mention the do not call registry. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, but like we were saying, it does mark them with the red dot. So you can purchase just phone numbers. You can purchase just emails, but let's see how much it would cost for both phones and emails. I'm gonna select that. And again, remember, you can limit the records. So you don't have to go through, you don't have to do the whole 490, whatever it was. You can say, I want to reach out to the top 200 within that list if you want.
And the fees are, you know, a little lower, you know,
Oh.
Supreme is taking care of the platform so that we can pass along, you know, what's the matter?
It's
Yeah, thanks, Whitney. I'm like, what am I?
Okay, there's,
that was so strange.
It stopped your recording, so you know.
It does say it's in progress, so I think it went back on.
okay,
Is everyone back? Not you.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
I'll just read off yours. It's
Okay.
fine.
Sorry about that, guys. That was weird. All right, let's see. Get count. Now it's gonna work. Awesome. Okay. So for 458 properties, phones and emails, it's like $55.
I mean, what are you paying for leads right now, Whitney? If that's not too intrusive,
You're muted.
you're muted.
I'm actually not paying anything right now.
Okay.
but I'm paying
You've had
for-
leads in the past?
For Red X.
Okay,
That would get me half of this information.
okay. And we just want to make sure it's valuable.
I was
you
just
know?
gonna say, RPR does this, is something similar. That's what I use. But this seems to have a little bit more indeed, like more detailed stuff.
Like more filters to search
Yeah,
by.
because I usually hit a lot of the non-occupied owners
Okay.
through RPR, so that's how I get a hold of those. But then I've got to go like kind of vet their information and make sure it's correct.
Right. So here's what it's saying. Your card will be refunded the difference for addresses where a phone or email is not found. So you're not going to pay for information that you're not getting, which is great. So that's what we wanted to show you as far as the radius search. Now I'm going to come out of here, get out of here. You want, this was you with the twin sister.
Where's my view not on? Can't see it. Just see Supreme title. Okay.
Oh, right here.
Mm,
Stop video.
oh, okay. I'll pick this up in a minute. Okay, so this was one of the coolest things I thought, and I love this because I can pass this information along to all of you. Go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, let me
Okay.
clear the search again. Remember, we're gonna clear search every single time. So
So
I'm
let's
gonna
say I see Tina has a listing. Let's just use my address again on Atlantic.
because this is a quick one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go out 2.5 miles. Let's just try something else. Let's go out 2.5 miles on this.
But we're doing
We're generating the report, right?
Yeah.
Well, we still have to go out a distance, do we not? Yeah, go to lead
Yeah.
sheet.
so what we're doing, you can go through, you can just search the address and then there's the generate report button here. Or if you put the address in and do the drop down, like I was mentioning, there's also generate report right there. Now you can do the profile with comps, single page profile, but we're going to show you the lead sheet.
Why is this thing-
What?
Okay, let's see this real quick.
I don't know, that was for the radius.
No, that was
I
for,
don't know.
oh, no, that was there.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it said 2.5 miles.
I don't know.
So let's say that you're here and you're busy. I can't do this, Tracy. I can't get the information. Just send it to me. Or if I just see it, I can send this to you and say, hey, this is right near your crib. This is right where your listing is.
Dang.
Right. And I could just forward this over to you.
Can I zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, please.
I'm trying. I was asking myself.
Oh,
Don't you think, Tracy, that we're gonna see a lot more mortgage defaults soon?
150,000%. I think
Because I've
mortgage
just
defaults are gonna come
Sold
in.
a couple because of that. Like
Yep.
we've on deference for 1.5 years. We haven't paid our mortgage in a year.
That was the
like-
lady you were telling me about. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that we're gonna see more and more of that people that you don't think haven't been paying their mortgage.
Just
they
That's
haven't.
why you wrote 2.5 miles.
Okay. Just to speak into that really quick. And again, I don't know what your business plan is and how you approach liens and divorces and situations. I know that a lot of realtors can be a little hesitant, but you don't realize how quickly these costs can get eaten up by attorneys, late fees, and banks. If reaching out to these people and over a couple, over the next couple of months and letting them know you're here, you could be doing them a huge benefit versus them, because a lot of people like to stick their head in the sand, a lot of people, and it's not to be unemotional about it. You have to let them know that you're here for them, because the last thing you
Right.
want to do, and I can tell you from years of doing this, especially with people in liens and divorce situations, list pendants and mortgage default, a lot of times they wait until they receive that, until the lawyer says, okay, you're in default, the bank is letting you know. Sometimes the fees eat up all of their equity. So getting to them 1 to 2 months in, when they start to receive those letters from the bank, when the bank is like, hey, you're late, you're at 90 days late, we're looking at you right now. Do not let us have to send this to you and let you know that you're in default, because once it goes to an attorney, man, we are in for a long time. So helping them out early on.
Sorry, I'm
When we're
making
helping
it
them
busy.
early on, this could be, you have a client forever, because people get out of this stuff and they repair. I can tell you, because probably 1,700 people out of the 10,000 that we closed have reached back out to us and have been like, well, I'm trying to make sure that we get to close with you again because of all the work you did previously. So that's ongoing business for you guys, and they're using the same realtors. So just FYI, that's just a little information from me.
So this is the last search that we are going to show you, because we don't want to overwhelm. There's been a
Sure.
lot of information, and if we go through like all the capabilities of this website, it would just be like brain blast. So I'm gonna go back into farming, but this time I'm gonna do a boundary search. When I search for an address, I'm actually gonna use my address because the area is definitely different than Tracy's. And if anyone's familiar with this area, right, there's Fisk, there's 520. Okay, I live west of Fisk, and that's where a lot of home ownership is. If you get east of Fisk, you're getting
Commercial, different types.
commercial rental markets, a lot of apartments and apartment housing. So I'm going to do this boundary search instead to really narrow down my exact area. So I just clicked and dropped my first pin right there. I'm going to come up to 520 and I'm going to drop my second pin right there. And now I come out, I drop this pin here. I come up, drop that there, drop that there, and I'm going to come
I'm
down.
gonna tell you guys right off the bat, the pin pushing is not my forte. Rose, I'll to do that for you. I'm all over the map on this, but this really is very
Drop.
specific. Oh,
Drop.
stressed me out.
All right. What is going on here? Oh, there
There
it
you
is.
got it,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. And then the last one right there. Oh, and then you double click to close it. Double click. Okay, so there's my boundary. This is perfect. I'm excluding because if I did a radius search from my home, it would include everything, a lot of things east of Fisk. And I don't want that. I want this more residential area right here. So then once you find your boundary or find your area, you click next. And now same thing, we have these filters that we can add. So I'm going to go to assessment and taxes this time and check this out. I'm going to see who has tax delinquencies on their property greater than or equal to 5 years. See, this is the most recent year of tax delinquency. So this is greater than or equal to 5 years. And I'm going to get the count for that. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm going with what I said.
Good.
Holy
So
moly.
look at that. Within the boundary search,
180
180 properties have tax delinquencies within the last 5 years. Let's take a look at the records.
Whitney has a question.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
Yes, Darlene.
Clarify, has had within the last 5 years or currently has up to 5 years delinquent?
Has had within the last 5 years.
Okay.
Look at that too. It's all really concentrated into like 2
Yeah, it is.
areas, which is crazy.
Ouch.
But check this out. So now we have they have tax delinquencies. They're to the point where they probably need to look at maybe selling the home. They're sort of pushed into that position. But let's do that new possible leads again. And out of those 180 with tax delinquencies, 10 of them also have a lien. Those people really need to sell like right now.
I
So
mean,
you
you
can
can see that, you can see the power in this with, once it's layered on top of it, right? You've got tax liens, you've got, there's just a lot going on here.
Yep. So these are multi-layered life events. The first life event being tax delinquency, the second being a lien. So now these people are really hot leads. If we go back into edit search, I mean, like we were saying, this was really kind of what we wanted to show you on the surface, but there are a lot of capabilities. You have all of this assessment and tax information. Let me show you one other thing. So we have the filters right now for the 5 years of tax delinquency. I'm going to go into the Premier side and I'm going to go into mortgage info. And I am going to pull people who have the 5 years of tax delinquency. See, the filter's still down there, but I'm also going to see who has a greater than or equal to 9% interest rate. I'm going to get the count
So
for
it's
that.
funny, I was listening to him talk about this. I'm like, who could have 9% interest rate when he was training it? I was like,
Surprised.
there are
3 of them.
people.
Wow.
Right.
And if I take off
They're
the
never
5 year
getting it.
tax delinquency and just search for people who have over a 9% interest rate,
18.
18 people.
Math.
What? How is that even possible?
I know, right?
Easy.
So the records for just having those addresses, because remember that I just want to show you, this is on the Premier side. It has that little banner showing that this is stuff you have to pay for. The mortgage info, the filters that you pull from this page, from the leads page, or from the phones and emails, especially from here, you're going to have to pay for the records of the addresses before you even add phones and emails. So let's say you wanted to get this, but you also wanted to add phones and emails. Before you click pay now on this page, you would do this. So you have your filters right here with what you want, and then you move over to the phones and emails, click both, and now it adjusts your price, that 90 cents plus, the $2.50 for the phones and emails. So now you have $3 in, but you're going to be contacting the most valuable leads you could possibly be contacting.
Wow.
What's funny is specific areas pull specific types of things. I was just messing around in Viera yesterday, just kind of flip-flopping around a little bit. And, some of those places are new. Again, we are not realtors, so I don't know what was built in 4 years ago, etc. But the amount of divorces was insane. And I thought, wow, this is a really good market for somebody who farms Viera, and probably there is the price point is probably higher. I did not pull taxes, but I'm assuming taxes are there's going to be maybe default on taxes, because usually taxes and divorces tend to run, usually have financial problems. So sometimes that runs parallel with it. So Viera is a very interesting area. Where Rosie lives is an interesting area. My area pulls different. As realtors, you guys know, I didn't go into too deep of Palm Bay because I don't know it as well. But there are areas. I lived in Palm Bay in a place called Bayside Lakes, in a house when I first moved here in 2005 or 2006. And there are areas in there that are like 20 years old. So there's a substantial amount of farming that you can do in those areas and probably pull up a lot of tax issues.
Yeah.
So I would definitely suggest, before we do our second part, which we hope that you guys will jump into with us, to play with this a little bit so that we have more questions to shake our account rep with.
Yeah, we want to know your questions as you're playing with this, not
Please.
just what we got from you today, which thank you for the value. Do you have anything that
I'm writing them down.
you want to know? Is there anything that we missed or could do better?
So, Rosie, did you send our login information on that original email, or is that something you guys are going to send out?
So I mentioned when I sent the Zoom link yesterday, I said that there was a welcome email that should have been sent to you. Did you not get
Okay.
that?
I
comes-
will.
It could
I
be,
will
it
look.
comes from Benutech.
Okay.
So FYI, when we're sending you, like if I see that, again, let's say Whitney has a listing around the
I'm gonna-
area.
Really quick, Tisha, I'm going to resend it to you really quick. So
Did you get it, Whitney?
I'm sorry, I haven't really been looking. I've been under the weather. So.
Okay. Whitney, did you see it, love?
I did. I got it yesterday. I had a quick question. So one of the things I use RPR for as well is,
What's that acronym stand for?
It's
you know,
Okay, I just want to make sure so I can ask them and they might be like, what is that?
So RPR is actually something the board offers to us. So I don't know that. Yeah. I'm assuming it's got realtor in it.
Realtor property reports possibly.
Look,
Okay,
yeah, look at
okay.
that.
We're
Let's
gonna
go
throw
with
that out there. Is that not only can I see, so like one of the things that we did was who has a 9% interest rate. It doesn't give me interest rates, but it does show me who the mortgage company is, when it was taken out. So I have an idea of what rates were at that time. And it shows if they have a second mortgage or a HELOC.
Mhm.
When I pull that report, am I only getting phone numbers and emails and addresses? I don't get any of that information as well.
Mm-mm. I don't
Okay.
think so I don't think so on that one. She's just getting phones and emails.
Well, it's just
She can-
based off, it's really based off of the filters. So it's kind of like, instead of being on the report, you filter it out before you run the report. Does that make sense? So like you're pulling, you might not get the mortgage company that they closed with, but you'll know when they purchased the home, you'll have that. Okay, Tina, bye. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Tina.
So you'll get, right. So you'll get the information about when the home was bought and you'll know what their interest rate is based off of the parameters that you have
But
set.
not their loan amount.
The loan amount, I think there was a loan amount from, you know what, I think the loan amount is from when they purchased it. Like, I think you see what, yes, that was that fact.
Yes.
You do see it when they purchased.
Right.
it,
And then
Which is
also,
the only information you could really get, right? Because it's recorded.
hold
But
on.
you can pull that from your app too, right?
Yes.
There's also, wait a minute, there is a place that exports from. It's just not on the, it's not on the farms. But if you do that report, that profile for the property, it does pull what loan company did it, what year
Let's
it
see.
was, what amount.
Let's see, hold on.
So a lot of times it's, you know, I can see what was recorded, but they took out a second mortgage.
Right.
So when I'm trying to do my net sheet of numbers, if I don't know that,
So do what, give me an address.
Give us yours.
No, well, it's a brand new home, so.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll give you mine, 3625 Burdock.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go to the drop down and I'm gonna do a profile with comps. Okay. I've literally only done this one other time, so be patient, please. There are no comparable homes. That's fine, but
That's crazy because I live in a subdivision.
how is that? There are no comparable homes. For this.
well, it does pull these parameters, so you can always adjust this. It does plus or minus 1 bed, plus or minus 20 square feet.
I wonder why.
Year built, any sold in the last 12 months. Maybe that's why. If we do it to
Is it brand
18,
new?
there we go.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, this was built
Okay, yeah.
in 05, I think.
Yeah, so it just looks like no one's really sold within the last 12 months. That would be a comp for you. But within 18 months there was. So here you have that. Now, generate profile.
So I have a question, just
Uh-huh.
because I noticed one of the addresses in there. How does it pull, so RPR pulls property tax data and MLS data? Does this only pull property tax data? For example, I saw, we're saying it's Sharon, I don't know how you properly pronounce that street name, on that.
Oh,
And-
Sharon. Yeah.
Yeah, we went back and forth. I sold a house a few weeks ago, or at the beginning of the month, on that street, and it's not on there. But if I went in RPR, it'd be on there because it pulled that it closed in the MLS.
Well, I mean, everything pulls real time.
It pulls recorded deeds in real
So
time.
if the deed is recorded, it will show.
So the deed's not recorded if you just sold it, Whitney, so that's probably why it's. not on
And that's
there.
why I was wondering if it
It should be
pulled
it should
MLS
be really
and,
recorded within 3 days. Legally, you're supposed to have a deed recorded in 3 days. I don't know, maybe it just didn't show up in public records yet. Legally.
So that's the thing is sometimes like I sold a house and it didn't switch and it didn't show on the Brevard property appraisers for like 3 or 4 weeks. It was a long time.
Wow.
You close it.
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
So
I mean,
it'll just
they
be
still write their
property
stuff
tax
down, so
data.
that's why I didn't know if maybe some people do things, old school.
Yeah, I was surprised it took that long, but it
Yeah,
did. It
that's a
took,
long time, because literally we do that from
The
our.
county, I think you guys send it and it's the
No.
county.
We record it right from our desk, like literally we're recording the deed. I mean, we upload it, yes, we have to send the one, but you're getting the deed recorded. You're sending them the information ASAP, like basically the next day should be.
yeah,
So
I
it
think
must be them uploading it to their website.
Correct.
And this must pull from their website versus what's recorded.
Right. It should. I don't work in the deed office, but they've told us over and over again, everything should show within 3 days. Go to detailed view right there, Rosie.
Well, I pulled the report and it has the category. So here's what you wanted, Whitney, is here's the loan information with the loan amount, with the lender. It even shows what title company it was, but Tisha's address is not pulling that. So I just wanted to see if Tracy
can you
does.
try one other, let's try my grandmother. She lives across the street. That might help.
All right, I'm already in this, so let me just look
go
at
back
this
to it,
really.
Tisha.
Yeah, we'll
Oh, okay, okay.
Were you the first owner?
No,
Realtors Property Resource is what RPR stands for.
What is it?
Realtor Property Resource.
I knew realtor had to be in there.
So, I mean, there's Tracy Lynn Candell right there. All right, there we go. Look at that. We have some loan information there.
Now, is that what you bought the house for? Or is that what you like?
yeah, that's
is
what
that
I thought it was 389, but maybe it was, I mean, it's 100 years ago, so maybe it was 355 at the time. So,
And then, okay.
yeah, that's all. Oh, the mortgage. Okay, so like even if you look to the right, I bought it from James Broad. I remember him. I did pay it was 355, but I paid 284 for it. And look, I closed it Supreme. So
Okay.
SunTrust was the lender. So I'll just scroll down so you can kind of take a look at what this whole report can give you. It's many, many pages, but all the assessments, tax information, aerial map, the title changes,
let's see here. So
mortgage.
this is what you were talking about, right? So yeah, okay. Excellent. Yeah, look right here, the mortgage firm, they redid my mortgage in 2019.
Yep, and it even has the transfer of deed.
Transfer of deed.
And all of that on there. Okay.
Yeah,
I think the only real difference or kind of like, is that
tell us.
it's delayed. So like if I just went on that house on Sharon that I sold and went to do like an RPR and it already marks it at the dollar amount that it sold at because it pulled from the MLS.
So there's more steps with this one.
And it's not in this system as a sold. So if I was doing, let's say, a comps analysis, it wouldn't pull that for me for some reason.
Okay. Until the deed is recorded.
Until it's recorded. I guess not even recorded until it's on the website because it closed with you guys. So it had to be recorded already. It's just not reflected on the property appraiser website yet. So that would be the only kind of like, since we know it's delayed to get on that.
For
website.
sure.
Okay.
For sure.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. But at least there's a workaround as far as getting that mortgage information that you were wanting. And
Yeah.
This is a good long.
oh yeah, this gives you everything.
I'll be
Check
honest,
this
I haven't
out.
seen this, Rosie.
Here's the comps. Going even farther down, you can get a detailed view of each comp. Area sales analysis,
And since Tisha does works a little bit more on beach.
nearby
What was
neighbors.
interesting was I was concerned with doing this, that they would start using my comparisons being across the street from the beach. I was
Pardon me, guys, I
terrified,
have to use the restroom.
that they would say to us, because that happens a lot in during short sales, like all of a sudden they would be doing, they would use my house as a comparison and they'd be like, your house is worth $1.1 million. I'm like, in what world are you talking about? But then I would find out that, bro, Jim across the street lives in a penthouse facing the ocean and isn't a plebeian like me living on other side of the street. So,
Yeah.
but it does really.
Now,
good.
I do have a question. So are you planning on giving this to everybody?
No, I am not.
Okay, because I
honestly,
was like, if there's like 8, I could only imagine like,
no way.
you know, we're hitting like people a million times.
There's not even so it's funny that you say that. They're like Tina's office uses us exclusively. She's got,
Right.
5 agents, and I'm going to show it to their office.
Right.
But my goal is not to do that because it's just not fair. I don't feel that that would be fair. I'm giving it to the people that we work with or people that know how to use leads, like I don't want to put this in a burn and churn, newbie person's list that doesn't know how to do this. I want this business to close. So
Right.
yeah, no, that will not happen. And he was like, you should, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, that's okay. We've been doing just fine on our own.
Well, my fear is that when we start to look at these, just say, liens and probates and divorces, and there's this little niche pocket, like say, say we, just between me, Whitney, Tina, her 5 people in her office, if we hit Viera, right? And there was 8 divorces, 12 divorces, we're all working the 12 divorces. And I get that, we tend to do that kind of stuff where we are hitting, farms or maybe a couple
Sure.
agents in the farm area. I'm just afraid that, we're gonna
I mean,
up-
there are also more, there are savvy realtors that will pull that information out anyway. They're gonna know how to do it. They're
Yeah.
going to be looking for things just like this. I mean, anybody,
And ultimately, the competition exists regardless.
but
Yeah.
honestly, 86% of 86% of realtors don't follow up with past clients. So I think the numbers are really good for you guys.
Seriously.
Like
Yeah.
already, Tisha, you're asking the right question, right? It's like, if I follow up with this person, or if I do this work, I mean, you're going to follow up. The other 12% are not gonna, 14% are not gonna follow up with these people. So the chances are
Right.
strong, So what else, girls? Please, and Whitney, it seems like you're very techie. I know Tisha, just go on here and start, if you would do us that solid and mess around with this, just.
I'm gonna stop the recording.